What's good, Logan? Question 6. Find the value of c that makes the expression a perfect square trinomial. Then write the expression as the square of the binomial. All right, so there's two things we need to do. We need to figure out the right c. Then we need to write it as a square of a binomial. So what does that mean? Well, to make this a perfect square, right, a perfect square trinomial, we always take the middle number and cut it in half. Half of 12 is 6. In other words, 6 plus 6 is that negative 12, or negative 6 plus negative 6 is that 12. So this is 6 plus 6, which tells me that this c has to be 6 times 6. So for me, on this problem, I would say x squared minus 12x, and the correct c is 36. That is my perfect square trinomial. Now what I want to do is I want to convert it over into a square of a binomial. Now the square of the binomial just means a binomial to the power of 2. It's as simple as writing down x for x squared, x times x, and then writing the minus 6, right, because that's minus 6, that's negative 6 plus negative 6, to get the 36 over here. And you can, it's I don't want to say it's obvious, but if you think about it, you're like, well, where's that negative 12x? That's from when you FOIL it. So if you were to multiply, you don't have to do this. This is the next step, but this is why it works this way. But if you were to take this, it's not even the next step. It's just, it explains why it is what it is. If you take this out, you'll notice that the x times x is x squared, and that this negative 6 times the negative 6 is positive 36, which is why we got that number. But then if you go x times negative 6, that's negative 6x, and then you do this negative 6 times that x, that's another negative 6x, and that's a total of negative 12x. And that is why this works this way. So I'm looking for x squared minus 12x plus 36, this guy, followed by its binomial that's being squared that is equal to that. Those two guys are the same. All right, let's try the next problem. Cut the middle in half. Half of 30 is 15. So that means this guy here has to be 15 times 15. So we write down x to the power of 2 minus, sorry, my mistake, plus 30x plus 225. That is the trinomial square, or the square trinomial. Next, we're going to factor this thing to x plus 15 to the power of 2. Why 15? Because that gave us the 30 in the middle, and we knew it was positive because it said positive 30. And that's it. Moving on to question C. Question C, cut this guy in half. Well, half of 6 is 3, so that's 3 plus 3 to get the 6. That means this thing right here has to be 3 times 3. So it's going to be x to the power of 2 minus 6x plus 9, which can then factor to the binomial square, or the squared binomial, as x minus 3 to the power of 2. Notice that the minus 3 makes sense for the middle as well as the back. Negative 3 plus negative 3 is negative 6, and negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. So that whole negative 3 right there makes perfect sense for both of those. Similarly, notice that the 15 over here makes sense for the 30, 15 plus 15, and it also makes sense for the 225 as 15 times 15. And last but not least, the 12 makes sense for 6 because negative 6 plus negative 6 comes out to 12, and negative 6 times negative 6 comes out to 36. All right, see you on question number 7.